Well, hello. We're back. It's Monday, and I'm back again. You might ask yourself, why is he smiling so hard? Well, hey, I'm just in America, and America's team doing good. Why would I not?
Hey, good evening. Coming live from undisclosed location. I am your host tonight, D. Horace Towns. I am joined tonight. If you have not ever caught an episode of the Black Super Friends, here's the premise of the show. My name is D. Horace Towns, world famous entertainer, Mac, bachelor, creative genius. And I'm joined by my three best friends, who you will know as the Black Super Friends. Three of my best friends who I've known for over 20, 30 years. Ensemble of cast that is full of wisdom, jokes, many stories. And I think that you will find this cast to be intriguing, enlightening, and impactful. So as I go to my cast, let me introduce you to my best friends, the BSF. I'm going to go up top to the guy who is known on the show as the logical one. But lately, he's getting a little hate mail himself, and I am sure glad to have it. Tonight, you will address him as Mr. Hardy.
Hey, how y'all doing out there, man? I just want to be a little more professional. You know what I'm saying? A lot of my money during this season has been wasted away betting with the Cowboys, and I must say, when we're winning, we're winning. And let's just say the champagne tastes better when it's not on the bottom shelf.
Yeah, well, I tell you, Mario, with all the love in my heart, to enjoy the wins while you have them. It is the Cowboys. All right.
I have to. I have to.
Cool. All right. Hey, hello to everyone that's just joining in. It will be a amazing show today. Dragon. uh, Hey, put it in basic. Let me know how to say it because I'm going to murder it. T double, Amber Walton, and another cowboy person named Tasha Wilkerson. We'll pray for you after the show. Okay, next,
Shout out to
I'm
Zay
going to
Moore.
the bottom. And the person that is known to most of the viewers, Zay, the self proclaimed ladies' man.
And how you guys are doing? I got my pink lemonade for you, Hardy, because I know you're gonna be crying later on this season when y'all 5-5 or 6 and whatever. I just know. But
Yeah,
cheers to you
it's the
right now.
same color as Maui Maui.
Oh, we did. Don't worry about that.
To be fair, Zay, Zay, you're a Dolphins fan, right?
I'm a Dolphins fan, die hard.
Yeah, y'all dying real hard every
Oh
Sunday.
man, every Sunday I drink because of the Dolphins. When they lose, I drink, and when they win, I drink some more. Cheers.
Y'all need a class action lawsuit for them damn Dolphins. It's 50 years, man. Tom Brady would have put down the highlight reel in one game, but that's my
Mm-mm-mm.
guy, Tom. Shout out to Tom Brady. I love you, man. Glad to be on Team Brady, TB12. Hey, next, I'm going to the guy who I call the architect of confusion, who gives me the most trouble on the show. But every now and then, he will say the most brilliant thing that actually changes my life. And he's that brother who I look forward to seeing when he's home, because when he's home, I'm not the baddest kid. My mom loves him. But tonight, seriously, we're gonna introduce Chris Leo.
Yes, yes, yes. I thank you guys for being here, sharing this experience with me. But I gotta give a big shout out to my nephew who celebrated his 7th year on this earth. Big shout out to Elijah, man. Uncle, love you, man. Can't wait to see you grow. Got that PJ Masks coming on Amazon for you today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. Keep looking out for it. Uncle, love you.
Okay. We come from an era of hashtags, guys, and it's almost like America scripted at times. We just went through a season where we had police involved shootings of black males that were unarmed, and now we're in a season of missing people. There are tons of missing black women that go missing with little to no media coverage, and now you're starting to see black males start to disappear. I want to talk about a hashtag shortly. The young man, and I want to make sure I pronounce his name, Jelani Day. Jelani Day, who was missing as of September 4th, found in the Illinois River, and his body was not identified for 20 days after that. The young man was found with no eye, and I'm sorry if I'm going to be graphic. The young man was found with no organs, no eyes, no brain. I can go on and on. The man was missing major organs and parts, and people are outraged saying now that the story doesn't add up. And second of all, why was there little to no media coverage? I got to give Twitter and Black Twitter um, fanfare for this because hashtags seem to be the new way to get things going. There's so many things going on in our country that you don't hear about, but a hashtag will make you go and say, "Hey, what's going on?" And I must honestly say, not to go on a rant, but I will. People need to realize that that skin that you got, the most amazing parts of you, as much as I joke about Zay's complexion and whatnot, it is the stuff that the universe is made of. Melanin is more precious than platinum, gold, or any resource. So when you see people in the stores buying melatonin, I want y'all to think about, where does melatonin come from? It comes from melanin. Where are they getting the melanin? It's almost like with the Smurfs and what was the evil guy? The evil guy that chased the Smurfs.
Gargamel.
Gargamel, because he wanted what the Smurfs had. It's kind of similar in that same situation with us. Um, a couple months ago, there was a chop shop. I think it was outside of Oregon where they found skulls and bodies. A crap load of missing. You can't even identify the people, but it was a chop shop for organs where they were taking people and stealing organs. And I don't think people in our community know how serious this is. And that'll be something I guess we bring on a specialist to talk about. But I want our community to be careful, and I also want us to be aware. That is one of the reasons I don't have much trust in my doctors. I don't. I don't have much trust when it comes when the vaccination. That's why people are so skeptical. Because once you get my DNA, now you know what I consist of. You know, I know there was a man at one time saying that certain drive-bys were no accident, like they were killing people to harvest their organs. So that story, to sum it up, was a hashtag about another missing person, this time a black male, who will probably not get justice, will not know what happened. But a young man at a young age that is gone, and somebody has his organs to extend their life. So, Chris Leo, what's your thoughts?
This is a tough one, man. This is a tough one. Shout out, not shout out, but prayers goes out to his family. I've seen a lot of videos of his mom, and I can see the agony in her face. But this is nothing new. If you remember a story back in Valdosta, Georgia, about Kendrick Johnson, who was found and wrapped up in a gym mat, and they saying he went in there himself and looking for shoes. It's just funny how they always can come up with some kind of explanation for it. Even with Jelani, they say that from him being in the river so long and decomposing, the animals came in and ate his eyeballs and all that stuff out. So to make us think something, it wasn't foul play, but I believe that that's a homicide. I believe there's more to the story, and I'm all for protecting our women. I'm support that, but I ask who protects the protectors. This is nothing new. This is nothing new, and I just my prayers go out to his family.
All right. Um, Listen, it's been a heck of a weekend, I must say, man. That was a horrible story. I think black people, we need to just open up and really realize there's so many things going on in our time and this time, and a lot of stuff is meant to distract us. But let's change course a little bit. Well, I can't even say it's a good story because it's kind of bad too. I watched the fight Saturday night, And I like both fighters. I commend both of them, but a black man got beat till he was on some skates, man. And I commend Wilder for his heart. I still think he needs to respect the art of boxing and learn how to box. But congratulations to the champ, Tyson Fury, on a win in the trilogy fight, their third fight between Fury and Wilder. Fury wins the match in the 11th round, so I must commend that fight. So I don't have to listen, guys, but Tyson Fury 3.
What you thought, Mario?
Oh, hold up.
Oh.
Yeah. No. All right. Well, I'll tell you what I thought about the fight. Okay. Well, see, here's the thing. I thought the fight, as a fight itself, I thought it was really, really, really good. I thought that for a fight, it was real good. For a trilogy, it was even better. I think the first fight, I personally believe that he lost all three of them. You know, the first one ended in a tie, but I personally believe that he lost all three of them. And I think he was outclassed in this. I think Wilder was truly outclassed. And I'm not just saying that in the boxing realm of it. I'm saying that when I watched Wilder walk out of that ring without giving an interview, without, dapping the man up, and I thought that was classless right there. I don't know what was his reasoning behind it. I haven't heard from it, but I just thought it was classless. The man beat you fair and square. The second fight, you said it was your uniform that was too heavy. You saying that it was a conspiracy about him having the gloves halfway off his hand and hitting you with his knuckles and stuff like that. At the end of the day, man, I'm sad that a brother lost like that. I take pride in him being able to go as far as he did, because I had him out in the third round. To be honest with you, when we were watching the fight at the Scratch Lounge here in Orlando, a black-owned restaurant and night lounge, I said third round, and when Fury knocked him down in the third round, I actually thought I was right. So, but yeah, I just thought it was classless for him to walk out the ring and not say nothing. But what do you think, Mario?
Yeah, man, I'm back, man. I got knocked out like Wilder did for a minute, man. Bear with me tonight, man. We got a new computer system up here, man, so bear with me. I got a case of the Zays.
Man, but, somebody else under me this time.
Hey, man, I think that Chris took the words out of my mouth on this. It's sad to say that that's what we had to cling on to, because I'm always going with betting on black, but it's sad when you lost, bro. You know what I'm saying? But I think that at some point you got to stop saying that I'm just dominant and then learn to craft, because I think it's so many people putting their hard-earned money and their faith and they hoping for you to win. And I think that you came in there with the same game plan you came in there last time. I'm going to look for a big hit. I'm going to duck a few things, and I'm going to try to knock him out early. You seen that Fury is a boxer. That's what he does. He's box. He knows how to box better than you. So I'm thinking in this time, maybe you got humbled and understood that you can't just have a big hook. You got to actually learn how to box. But I seen he came in there with the same thing. And like Chris, I thought he was going to get knocked out early anyway. But then it really pissed me off when he did not show humility or sportsmanship at the end. Because now, once again, here we go, a black man on the biggest stage in boxing right now, not being humble, not showing other little black boys how to stand up, be a man in the face of adversity, and just cowering away. Because that's what that is. All of us have played sports at some level, and we know it sucks to lose. It does. It sucks to lose in life in every aspect of it. But at some point, man, the difference between a man and a boy is understanding how you have to get up and dust yourself off and tell the other person on the other side, good game, I'm going to work on me and get better next time. So I'm sad that we had to witness that, because there's a lot of little black boys out there who wanted to box, who was looking at that same thing. And I hope they don't take that into their repertoire and use it in the up-and-coming fights they have. What you got to say?
I was going to say that match was a classic case of hard work beats talent when talent does not work hard. Wilder is a great one-hitter quitter fighter. He doesn't have any style. Fury exposed that, and I really think that it was just his karma. And Berman Stavern, he's in our inner circle down here. So I hang out with him, and he beat my guy mercilessly the first time. And even though he had a good fight, he got the same highlight reel that he put on Berman. And I mean, man, like Malcolm S says, how the Roosters come home to roost, the jokes, and I think that the jokes are deservedly so with that bad show of sportsmanship, because you are true and right, Mario. With the young men that are watching the sports in all aspects of sports, whether it be football, basketball, whatever, you can't win everything in life. And you got to learn as a man how to take it on the chin. You lost. Prepare to do better next time. The punch.
God dang it.
Don't take nothing else on the chin. That ain't gonna be right.
Jeez Louise. Hey, well, first of all, guys, I want to tell you, I watched the fight, and I must commend you. I can't remember the last time a fight actually had me on the edge of my seat. Like I'm with Chris. I didn't doubt who was going to win. It was about when it was going to happen, and you got to give Wilder credit. He's one of those. One punch can change somebody's night. But I will tell you one thing, man. I said on Twitter commentary, when he got knocked out, it felt like Apollo Creed had died again.
He didn't really die, but I get you.
He died, Chris. Was you there? Okay.
No.
And I think that is a good lesson in that, man, because the same person showed up all three fights. One thing you got, and the testament, and I will talk about this later. Once you should research and get to know Tyson Fury. Most people gonna see a big, fat white guy. That's what they're gonna describe him as. But if you listen to this man talk, if you hear his story, man, that is nothing but a champion. And I want to defend fat people at this moment. When you have all that muscle, you ain't got nothing to draw on when you run out of juice. So as awkward as Tyson Fury look, with that little small little biscuit meal on the side here and there, that's where some of that stamina come from, bro. And it's hard to beat somebody like Fury. That Joker could absorb some punches. And I think that's what made the difference. You know what I mean? But when you start seeing the Joker bleeding out his ear, that's time to go. And I felt sorry for his wife who was on that. It's going to be hard to love him for a couple of weeks because she was out there looking sad. She was crying. Yes, Chris Hill.
I went to Dwight, so I don't know about y'all, but I went to Dwight where a lot of white boys go. And white boys ain't easy to knock out. That's just historically. White boys are not easy to knock out. I've seen some white boys take some of the most hood black guys in the world and just keep on going. So yeah, white boys ain't easy to knock out.
Oh my goodness, man. Listen, I must say, what's our partner that did the street fighting down in Miami? He passed away.
Kimbo Slice.
Okay, Kimbo lost a fight to one of those Nebraska boys. And I'm talking about he fought, and in the end he lost because that Joker turned red, but he was still standing.
I'm telling you, that
Kimbo learned that lesson. All right, guys. Well, the next story, man, I'm just going off the cuff. I'm not looking at the transcript or whatever. Hey, the next thing is the Dave Chappelle series on Netflix called The Closer. And this story has a lot of edges to it. Why does it have a lot of edges to it? Because some group called the Black Justice Group or Black Justice Coalition had the nerve to say that they wanted the series removed because of transphobic remarks that they deemed to be insightful, hateful, and etc. Now, why is this interesting? Interesting because Dave Chappelle said, you can't censor me, you can't cancel me because I don't give a damn. I don't give a shit. Second of all, I'm going to come back in my closing comments and highlight how people have no respect for our community. So they'll take the word black justice and use it for everything but black justice. So I watched the Netflix special this week, and I must say it's no different from any other series that you actually seen from Dave Chappelle. But I always defend, as a stand-up, I defend the freedom of speech, and I think it's area of America is whining so much that they don't know they are turning us into a whole nother country. But I want to get y'all thoughts on this, man, because that happened to be the talk of the town all week about Dave Chappelle. And the more they complain, all it does is make people run to go watch Dave Chappelle. Oh man, the chess moves, I must say. Hey, I'm going to Mario first.
Hey, I think first of all, it was amazing, and I must say that like Dave is like a national treasure. See, I think a lot of times we didn't really, most of us didn't really grow up. We was on the tail end of the real comedic run when it was like stellar comedians, where it was like everybody stand up was the art that you went to. With all this social media and this TVs and all these other platforms, it kind of for a while got away from stand up. So we really lost the whole love for that. But when you really think about Dave Chappelle and how he don't miss and the way he ties from minute one all the way to the hour and 20 minutes all together and everything makes sense, that's not only just funny, that's amazing. Like you got to understand sometimes and sit back and see when you witnessing greatness. Like I watched Michael Jordan play greatness. Whether you like him or not, you just got to say, man, that's just amazing. I seen Dion play cornerback and nobody threw their side. And I got to see Dave Chappelle come on and kill it in the midst of the most sensitive crowd ever and don't give a damn. That was amazing. His reply to everybody is like, yeah, fuck it. I stay here. I got a wife and I don't care. And that's just what it is. But it all made sense. See, and I think that's what hurt so much is because there was so much truth behind it. But like Horace said in my comments, I think we in the beginning of the council coalition is bullshit. Excuse me, FCC, but I think it is. And we're seeing it. Let me just give you some highlights. Dave Chappelle, they said cancel him. Netflix is selling through the roof on his sitcom. R. Kelly was found guilty. He's up 500% on sales. Tory Lanez, they said cancel his lad. And he's been doing shows all around the world. Kodak was canceled. He's coming back. Young boy don't get no play. He's number one YouTube seller. So as we see right now, cancel is just a figment of Twitter's imagination. It doesn't work. So if you're a part of the cancel coalition of angry haters, understand you're losing your power daily. And I'm sitting back laughing. Go ahead.
This was comedic genius to me. This was like a surgeon doing brain surgery. Like you said, Artie, everything ties in. It's like watching a fun ass TED talk, but it was like hilarious to me, and I got what he was saying. I don't understand why this particular group gets more mercy and gets more. Like I don't even know the word I'm looking for than any other group. Like you want equality. Equality is being able to be joked on equally as any other group. I've been to comedy shows my whole life. Black people and white people get joked on. Heterosexuals get joked on. This is how it is. If you want equality, that's how it works. Not only that, it's like gender is a fact. It just is. I don't care what you say. Gender is a fact. You can identify with whatever you want to identify, but gender is a fact. Just like Mario. How old are you?
39.
Okay. Why aren't you 63?
Well,
why can't you identify as 63?
Yeah, R. Kelly tried that. You see what they got him?
Exactly. So gender is far more important than age. So again, I agree with everything the man said. This group of people, although they deserve protection, but they deserve equal protection as any other discriminated group there is. And I thought that's what they was looking for, equality. That's all the way around the board, but that's what I think. Horace, what you got?
Hey, listen, I want to say this. 3 things I got a problem with. When we did the show back, Black Lives Matter, I openly said I didn't support Black Lives Matter. I supported Black unity and I supported black people unifying. People went crazy on me. And I said, I dare you to go to Black Lives Matter and actually read the whatever it's like the bylaws or whatever, I forgot what the articles or whatever. And once you get in there, it talk more about rights of gay, transphobic people than it actually address black lives,
Mission
right?
statement.
Mission statement. And they made a lot of money. Now you got people that's involved with that same thing saying, we don't know where the money went. Like none of it went to these groups that actually fought for causes like Black Lives Matter. How many of those actually funded some of those groups, Chris, like your sisters groups and those grassroots groups that actually get out there and campaign to do stuff? Money ain't there. So you got a group, I'm pretty sure just got created, the Black Justice Group, who's talking about transphobic issues. Did they poll black people and say that's what we want to address with priority? Why does everybody talk about everything but real black issues? The problem I have with America is, and I'll say it up straight, everywhere around the world, there's a profit of black failure. The whole supremacy, the whole white supremacy system is about us, right? And nothing's gonna change till we find another group to be the new black people in America. Because right now, black people are the stake on the table. So when you see those LGBT and all of that stuff, it bothers me because freedom of speech is is what makes America great. Those same people that's complaining, and to be honest, I have some gay friends, and we had a conversation about it this weekend, and they was like, they are even bothered because these groups will make statements on their behalf, and they don't even be in touch with the gay community. If you look at Dave Chappelle's show in the audience, who was in the audience? So it's amazing. I never seen Black Lives Matter or seen the Black Justice Coalition talk about people having issues with people saying the N-word. I didn't see none of those groups go out there and openly say, we're the gay coalition and we are out here against police involved shootings of black males. So I had a problem with that. I give a kudos to Dave Chappelle, who called it the closer because he as of now he's through with the conversation. He explored the hypocrisy when it comes to that community, the alphabet group that has attacked him after every series. And if you looked at this here, if you looked at this group here, this show right here, I didn't see where it was to be outraged at. That's just me personally. I can't tell people what to be offended about, but man, listen, I'm with Chris. You can't pick and choose victimization. Yes, Chris.
John Gruden out as Raiders head coach after reports he used homophobic and misogynistic language in emails sent as a broadcaster. This just in from the Washington Post.
And racist. And racist.
And racist. But you know what goes first.
You know what's amazing about that story? You actually had black players that went to his side this afternoon when the story was potentially breaking. You know what I mean? Funny thing is, he'll sit out for a year or two and then he'll get rehired. But, ladies, man.
Most definitely. I was going to say, Horace, for your gay friends who said that the community is out of touch with them. In that community, the Lions do not care about the opinions of sheeps. And I think that David Chappelle was surgical with it. It was cutting edge and it was hilarious. I loved every minute of it.
You got me, Zay. You got me.
Those are your friends. You
boy, you got me there.
But I will say this. This is another case of when some black people don't know when to shut the hell up. Who is the Black Justice Association? None of us may never know. They may be a bunch of white people. Yeah, it's a bunch of white people that just took the name Black and Justice and they associated it and they spoke on our behalf. Hogwash. But
we never seen you
at all. We don't know. And the craziest part of all is Dave is so smart. He named or brought up something that a lot of people casually overlook. The LGBT or alphabet people community is a part of the minorities. So are women and so are brown people. However, when something happens to the black people, that we think that the minorities are consist of, it just gets swept under the rug. But when it happens to the funny people, sorry about that, the people with the funny letters, let me get that correct, in their name, then it's highlighted and it's brought to the forefront. Amazing. So he brought that to the forefront. But one thing I saw that I didn't realize, and it makes so much sense now, both David Chappelle, Dave, as we affectionately call him, and Mr. Kanye West, their mothers were college professors. Those boys are geniuses. That's how he's able to tie that thing in from minute one right to the end and keep you glued to the seat. I always say Dave Chappelle's comedy is for people with intellect, and that was an intellectually funny conversation. All hour and 20 minutes of it. I love it.
Mm.
What about you guys?
Zay, you
You
might
just
hit me straight
scratch.
again.
It probably is. Oh, yeah. I'm over here DJing. Don't worry.
Yeah, I am worried.
What is transphobia? What is transphobia, fat phobia,
Another
homophobia?
made up word.
Like, why? What makes you? What makes us scared of you? Like, I know
Really?
phobia is a fear of something. How can you just tell somebody they scared of fat people or trans people or gay people? Like, I don't know how that works, but I digress.
It's crazy. It's because they're projecting. They think. They didn't ask. They're opinionated. It's easy to have an opinion. Or sorry about it, it's easy to judge. It's not easy to think. So they'll judge you and tell you you're afraid. Why don't you have a conversation with me? Tell me what I don't like about it. So we can have, it's simple. But
I
okay.
want to bring some women on this show. I watched a podcast earlier today with these women, and they talked about the issue with Dave Chappelle, and they talked about transphobia. And if you heard those sisters talk, it was some new educated type chick. But if you heard them talk, they were so outraged. And I'm like, why can't we be outraged about us? Why can't do you have that same passion when it comes to black men?
Of course not.
I've always asked that question, and I'm putting myself out there. I've always wondered, like, the outrage, like, wrong is wrong, but it just be always confusing to see the people that do speak out on it. Because gay people are even tired of gay people at this point. But to your point, Zay, who knows what the Black Justice Coalition consists of? Because many people don't know the NAACP was created by who?
Mm.
One us. Go
Yeah.
do the research.
That's just like Black Lives Matter.
Right. Right.
That's white
Another
people.
organization that didn't want black men in the whole equation.
Yeah.
But
Black men I don't think are important until it's time to protect something or buy
Feel
something. That's
something,
what it seems like. Yeah, that's about
right.
it.
buy something.
Because other than that, what else do we get protected on? Do they talk to us? No, they tell us we want to be treated like ladies or some crap like that. We just want dignity and respect, the same thing that you guys ask for. I don't care if you white, a woman, an Asian, or whatever, but I guess that's hard for us to get. Who knows?
Well, the man in the movie said one time, the hunt is on and you are the prey.
Yeah.
Listen, guys, I want to go quickly. I want to talk about something that hurt my heart, and it's okay to be vulnerable and say that. We had a show that we are going to edit, and I think Zay is going to address it, but it revolves around mental health. It revolves around suicide. Our young brother from down south, who I've seen grow and do some amazing things in his community down south, Kodak Black, went out and sent some messages and some tweets that was perceived as suicidal. And the young brother, cited out how lonely he was and, how he felt about his life and whatnot. And as many times I've seen people share it, I don't know if I've seen that many people stop to say, "Hey, I love you," or "Hey, brother, we praying for you." It's almost like shut up and dribble. The the Kodak Black that first came on the scene and the Kodak Black that you see now are two different people. Just two weeks ago, you seen a young brother down in the housing authority giving out AC units to people that needed it. During the middle of the summer. And then that brother was vulnerable enough. I ain't gonna say vulnerable enough because if you get to that point where you share to the world that you struggling with something, that's a real cry for help. And uh, we had a celebrity. We've had people that have even at a young age committed suicide. So the reason I said I want to do a mental check was simply because young people and especially successful people, when you're a broken person, success don't do nothing but amplify who you are. Like if I'm a butthole, a jerk, or I'm an addict, you give me $10 million, that ain't gonna change who I am. It changes my situation, but does it change who I am? So oftentimes when we see an NFL player who's talented get $10 million and then you get in trouble, it's just a young man that got $10 million who had those same problems. Y'all kind of get where I'm going with this? And I'm saying we have to open up, whether it's our nephews who are dealing with stuff that we never dealt with growing up, social media, cyberbullying, the economy where they find out they can't get no job, this era where everything is so narcissistic, where if you're not on a boat or a plane or not shopping or wearing this, it makes you the world social media is telling you that you're a loser. And these kids are looking for stuff to define themselves. So even if we young or old, first of all, I'm gonna ask us to reach out to even our nephews, our nieces, whatever. When you ask them are they good, they're gonna say, yeah. Dig deep a little more sometimes. Me and Chris had that conversation last year, and it changed my life because I was like, yeah, and he dug a little bit and we opened up on some things. So I'm saying everybody's going through whatever, but to dig in and really check on people if you say they're your friends or whatnot, especially young people that are going through their things day to day in this COVID era. So I don't know who wants to go first, Chris Leo. I thought I was gonna say something appropriate. I thought about it.
Well, as a former youth basketball coach, I understand exactly what you're saying. But what I would preference people, what I would say is this: be genuine, because those kids can tell the difference. If they sense that you're not genuine when you communicate with them and you want to know something, then you're not going to get much from them. So if you're going to do mental checks and just simply checking on the youth, man, you have to be genuine with it, because they can tell, they can spot disingenuousness. So that's my advice for you.
Ladies man.
I'm going to tell you, as another young man who deals with a lot of adolescents by way of my barber chair, they do open up and they talk to me about frustrations that they have. And I'm going to tell you that I don't care if you're an adult or if you're a kid. Nobody cares what you know till they know that you care. So what Chris said is very, very true. You got to take stock into them, pull them to the side, take them to lunch, sit down and really peel back that onion and see what's going on with them. Because as he said, I did get a chance to do a series, which I'm going to clean up and bring to the forefront, because I believe a lot of what was said needs to be heard by the adults, which are us now, because, hey, we're the one with the kids now. We're no longer young. And we need to be in tune with our children and not just think that everything's okay, or don't think that the dramas that we go through, whether it be work, whether it be relationship, whether it be finances, whatever the case may be, that they're not feeling the effects of it. They're just not saying anything because they hear you. And the crazy thing about kids is you may think that they're not paying attention, but they're going to pay attention to 100% of the things that you do and say, even though they don't say anything, and only do 80% of the things that you tell them. So like Chris said, if you are talking to them and they don't feel like you get them, or you don't feel them, they ain't gonna really do it. And that's just the God's honest truth. So you got to be mindful and also take stock in them. Like I said, just give them a little bit of TLC, and it won't hurt you, but it'll definitely bring out the best in them. And you might find out some things that you didn't know. What about you, Hart?
Hey man, I seen DJ Academics got another interview with Kodak. It just dropped, and him going into deep depth about what y'all was talking about him and how he grew up, his mom being single, and how his cousins was like his brothers. His brothers was like his daddy. And it always goes back to like, and they older. So I'm like, well, okay, the one he always bop with and dance. I'm like, okay, well, it was the blind leading the blind. You know what I'm saying? When I'm listening to it. But then I heard like, no, my uncles and my cousin, they was way older than me. And they bought me Jordans and they told this, and I used to cut the fence. And then I used to go back out down the block. And I heard and I began to hear the stories, and it sounds so normal because I'm from that area. You know what I'm saying? Well, it's just that The difference is when we were little, we snuck and did it. Now it's accepted because the thing about the word man and men is we throw that around so much. And I'm a man, so I'm finna criticize. This is not only this is men talking to me. Right now, at some point in your life, you got to say, you know what? Like what they were saying, what Chris was saying, and what Horace saying. I am a mentor, whether I want to be it or not. Kids are looking at me, not by what I say, by what I do. So at some point, you're gonna have to say, I have to have a line of difference in my life to show that when I became a man, I put away childish things. And I think that that level of separation is not there no more. Because now 30 is the new 20, 40 is the new 30, 50 is the new 40. Everybody want to stay young all their life. And at some point, how could I tell a 20-year-old not to do this if he see me doing it the next day? How could I tell a 20-year-old, hey, you need to go do this, and you need, by this age you need to have this if I don't got it? How can I tell a 20-year-old, hey, respect this? Hey man, pull your pants up with my pants sagging. Hey, don't you gotta have dress like this for an interview, but you don't have no interview clothes. At some time we gotta start talking and start living what we're talking about. And the kids that we see today are our representation of what we've been bullshit doing. Just talking, talking, talking. And now you're seeing the fruits of us talking with no labor. You see misguided young black men, because we're the generation of OGs now who still acting like BGs. And it's our fault. That's all I got to say about that.
No, I agree with what both of y'all or everyone said, right? And the reason I said it because a lot of the young Mario kind of hit it on the head. Well, that's bad, but I don't know, that bothers me a lot. It bothers me a lot, man. And we've done the homeboy check-ins. I think lately we've probably been talking more. I had a breakdown last week. Was it last week? Was it last week? And I apologize. I called Chris and I apologized, and he didn't really grasp it. But just being in that spot where I felt good enough to say, hey, bro, my bad. I had a moment. I was frustrated with what, going through something with the business accounts and the emails and whatnot. And, so I think you got to be able to have that place. And Chris could have been Chris and be like, man up, whatever. But he didn't. You know what I mean? He was there to listen. And I trust you guys enough to have that place where I can take some accountability. If y'all be like, hey, bro, you've been a little soft, or hey, you're tripping, you got to make sure you have that.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Chris. Let me see. I wanted to give it to you, but good. This question here will be interesting. It's part of the show that I've been looking for. That's why today's show is called The Confessions of Chris Leo. And since I did not pay attention in pre-show, I'm going to ask, because it's Mario, what is one of your most traumatic life experiences? And somehow we're going to mark Mr. Hardy first. Please share with the nation.
Well, to date, this is the most to me, still to this day. Getting a phone call saying I think I'm pregnant. Boy, I remember it like yesterday. I was like, "What? There's no way. There's no way in hell. Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so." So I went and bought every pregnancy test I thought I could bring. I just going to stores on the way to stores. And my sister Shan is in the comments. She could attest to this. I had her taking my baby mama test. Like, this can't be right. This just can't be right. This just can't be right. Because at that point in my life, I just felt like my life was kind of planned out. Like even though it wasn't going always expected, I thought that I wasn't too far off track, that I could just get right back home and everything would be okay. But I think that just when I found it sunk in. I think a lot of people don't know this. I think I wasn't as scared as people thought. I was more hurt that my mom was a single mom all my life. Like all my life until I got grown, she got married. But but I felt like, man, I just really let my mama down. And my mama did so much to raise me, so much to put me in a better position. And now I have to look this lady in her face and tell her that she was already working two, three jobs to take care of me, Papa, Mark, Brad, and all the other kids who stayed at my house. But now I'm finna have a child as a child. And I think that me looking at her eyes when I told her that and just seeing the hurt and like, what? Like, I just, like, you know what I'm saying? From that day though, I knew that no longer do I ask my mama for anything. And I put myself in this situation, so I got to figure it out. I did a lot of figuring out the wrong way, but nobody can never say that I was not trying to figure it out the best way I could, because I knew at that point it was not my mom's fault no more, but my life was in mine. I wanted to be a man, and so I had to figure out a way to be a man without dragging her down. So if you ask me my most traumatic, and I'm gonna say it's traumatic because I was a child with a child, and under excruciating circumstances of birth. Let's just say that it was everything that could go wrong, what did go wrong in that situation. But man, at the end, it turned out pretty good. But to this day, I preach this to all the young guys out there, to all my fellow friends, and I'm an advocate, for child support, Young Fathers Anonymous, and all the other social clubs of black men that drags you down to the system. I've been through them all, so I think that, sometimes the test part really goes into your heart, but until it becomes a testimony. But that's my traumatic part. Having a baby as a baby.
Mm.
What you got to?
Huh?
All right, I guess it's my turn. I will say this, guys. Being older than y'all, it's certain stuff that I told y'all later on. But I will say I had so many traumatic life experiences that I had to figure out which one was the one that probably was the winner. And I will say, to God's blessing and grace, most of the traumatic life experiences that I incurred actually shaped me for the good. Once you learn that lesson, man, that'll change your life. And then you'll understand why you're here and why you're who you are right now. So I learned how to take a lot of those moments and work through them and find the lesson in them, especially the pass down to you guys. But I would say probably the one of the most traumatic life experiences, the one I'm still dealing with. My situation is unique where my mom was a corporate America giant, so she was about working. She had me at 16, just like her mother had her at 16, and the cycle. And my dad was a player, pimp, actual damn pimp, and my probably not the best decision to date him, mama, but that's the typical story. High school cheerleader, dude that's riding around in the car, flashy. I don't know how good looking he was or not, but he's funny and charismatic. They have a child. My mom's determined to be somebody, so she goes back to work. My dad, he never figured it out. He was still gonna be hard times. But the most traumatic life experience came in the sense that my grandmother told my mother, "You had him for me." So most of my life, that is the person that I call mom. That bond is with my grandmother. That's all I remember, being with my grandmother. That's mom. And I actually felt such an attachment to her that, like, when through all the abandonment, rejection, and all that stuff, feeling like you're not wanted. Because I would go to my mom, she'd say, "Ask your daddy." Go to my daddy, ask your mama. Grandma was always there in that little piece to take care of me. So I'm like, at some point, I'm like, this is my house. So if you look at my grandmother's pictures, my dad is on the picture with me as a baby, but I grew up like a brother and sister situation, like many houses. But the traumatic life experiences was when I got older, I just wanted to take care of that lady. And I did not know what cancer was. And that woman said she wanted to live forever. My grandma went to the doctor all the time. And my granddaddy smoked cigarettes, but she went and they found breast cancer. And she went through the treatment and they said she was going to be okay. And I just went through life spoiling her, buying her stuff, giving her money. I just felt like such a wonder taking care of my mom. She had the surgery and found out later that they missed some parts of it. And the thing that I deal with till this day is because nobody told me. And she made sure everybody kept that secret from me, like the baby. And it wasn't until she died that I just changed. Like until she passed, I love Riviera Beach. Zaya tell you we was there every day eating dinner, hanging out. I was a mama's boy like Jody, I was baby boy. But the minute she passed, when they rolled out my house, it was like a spell was over, and I never seen this city the same way. So I still deal with that every day. That's why when I hear people talk about them losing their mom, I get it because there's nothing that you can just get over overnight. Some people gonna deal with that until the day they die. And me trying to be a man because you're supposed to be this tough, tough man, I didn't grieve. I didn't even know what grieving was. I just processed through it. And it wasn't until my wife at the time made me understand that I never grieved. But on her birthday, I would change. Holidays, I would change. So that's why I tell people to love your mothers and appreciate all the time that you have. So that's my traumatic experience, brother.
It's onions over there, bro.
Yeah, I
I
got
know the
you.
feeling.
Yeah.
I know the feeling.
Okay,
Well,
so
okay. I go. Okay, so my brother was doing time. Right, this is the first time he got locked up, and he had to sit. Right, so I had to. He was locked up in Martin County. He was getting out. The day he was getting out, at 12. I said, I'm gonna come and pick him up. So I went and got him a party pack, something to smoke on, something to drink on, or whatever. Picked him up from the jail. For those who don't know, from Martin County Jail to 95 is a little long way. So he got to, get out of jail and tell you all the stories or whatever. So we had to hit 95, had to Palm Beach. Still, he's smoking, telling this story, everything like that. Then we get off the exit and he asked me where we going. And I say to the hospital. He was like, for why? I was like, Mom dead. And I've never heard a sound. I've never heard, he made this sound like this it wasn't just a cry. It was like agony. And I can never forget the sound that he made. And I had to console my brother. And it was the worst thing because I never seen him affected like that. We had to go to the hospital, went up to get into that room. It seemed like it took forever, man. We got in there and I just seen her body sitting there. And we had to close the blanket over her and push her into the room where they took her. And that was like the most traumatic thing I ever had to deal with. But it didn't end there. Because when it happened, I told everybody don't put it on Facebook and nothing like that, because my sister was, on vacation or whatever. So when she got home, me and my brother went and picked up from the airport, and the same thing. She's telling the story about her vacation and all that, and we, having the conversation, laughing. Then we get to the house, and she getting ready to get out the car. And I said, "Hold on." So I turned on the music, and I had to tell my sister, and it was like basically the same reaction. She didn't have that sound, but it's like life got taken out of her face. You could see it, just her face just dropped, and just the life came out of her. And so to have to do that 2 times, that was one of the most traumatic things I ever had to deal with, man. Just to have to tell, as the oldest, having to tell my brother, who didn't know because he was locked up, get him out of jail. Then my sister, who was on vacation, she didn't know, and I had to tell her. Boy, that was a tough one. So for me, that would have to be my most traumatic experience in my life. Zach, what about yours?
Shoot. My most traumatic experience, I think I too am still dealing and healing. I ain't done. So I can't really go into depth with it, but I will talk about what spawned from it and how I think it's affecting me because I sat back and I listened to Horace's story and I affectionately love Grandma as much because I was the spoil when I actually booted Horace out the way once I came on the scene, and he would be upset, as most older brothers would be, because now you have a younger, brother that's in your spot and in your position. But with myself, I think as we know, we get older. It's the circle of life. We're gonna die. You know what I'm saying? And most people will feel like death is gonna be like a traumatic thing for me. Fortunately for me, I did life insurance for a good number of years, so I had gotten used to speaking about death, helping families through those ordeals, and felt pretty good about myself. So it came up to bat. I was on deck, like they say. It was my turn, and my father, he went ahead and passed. And I prepared myself as mentally as possible for this situation because I'm like, it's gonna happen. It's coming up, and then it happens, and I dealt with it like a champ. I felt like went through everything, made sure that everything was good. That wasn't the trauma for me. It was, I think people say families change with deaths and funerals. Excuse me, with funerals and weddings, families change. Well, I always thought not my family, and it was my family that actually changed. The most traumatic experience for me is losing. I'm such a family man or family oriented person. I do almost everything for my family. I feel like my family is blue on both sides. All of my cousins, older and younger, look to me for advice, look to me for support or help with something or just a joke, you know. And for me, not being able or just being shut off cold turkey sent me in a tailspin for a good while. Um, like Horace say, around my dad died the day before Thanksgiving. So what a Thanksgiving that was. A few days after my daughter's birthday, because hers is on the 18th, and about 4 days later, lights out. So I'm like, I'm dealing with the two. I'm trying to be happy for my daughter because she turned another age, and then in the same sentence, I'm like, dang, my pops is gone. All right, I'm a trooper. I shot through. For your family to alienate you, not speak to you, not explain to you what the reason is why they won't speak, but just be angry with you, then you ain't do nothing. It messed me up. I don't care for holidays. Like all that family time. What's family? What's that? Some people that's gonna say they love you and then don't be there for you when the time comes for them to actually do the things that they say families does. So, like we talked about, all these cliche things that we grew up with, family over everything, family first. They showed me. Hell, I think I went a good while and nobody ever called and checked on me and said, "Well, Zay, you all right? I know your dad died. You know what I'm saying?" Nah, it was good old Zay got it. Zay all right. He's straight. He's smart. That was the one that really burnt me. He's smart. How the hell am I so damn smart? I don't know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? It was almost like a trick. And I had to deal with that and try to figure my way through it. It made me rough on certain avenues and edges when it comes to people because I don't know how to deal with you. I don't know how to trust. I think that's a big part of my commitment issue. I don't trust that. You love me now for how long? And then until I do what? Are you gonna tell me, or are you gonna wait till surprise? And a lot of people in my life have done me the same way. All of a sudden, we'll be good. Oh, I love you. I never do this, and I never do that, and then they do it, and I be like, oh shit, here we go again. And I try my best to stay out of that rabbit hole. So when I see it, I'm darting the other way. I'm out of there because I don't never want to feel that feeling ever again in my life if I can so help it. And the crazy part about it is we have no control over it. But some weird way, I think that I do. And my friend above me can attest because he goes, Zay, you can't control it. All you can do is do your best. So I still deal with it because it don't make any sense to me. And I can't get a wrap around it to save my life. And I can't get a conversation to say, well, hey, at least know what I did so then I can rest that night going, all right, well, damn, I did that. You know what I'm saying? Or at least attempt to try and apologize, just nothing. So that's that cutoff and that cancel culture that they be talking about that I think is total and utter bullshit. But a lot of people feel like that's the way to go about things. Or I'm gonna ghost you, or whatever. And I think that is the most unmanly or unwomanly thing that you can do to a human, to do things like that. But people choose to do it, and we can't control their choices. We can control how we act. And so that's the lesson that I learned from that traumatic experience, where you'll never ever hear me tell you that something happened to me because somebody did something to me. No, it was something that Zay did, 100%. But that's what it formed of me. Probably made me a better person, I think. And some people may say it didn't, and that's their opinion. And both of them gonna be right. But that's what I got for it.
Woo! I'm glad I'm drinking tonight because you guys have just sent me in the tailspin.
Well, I got a second question.
Take over.
I want to talk about. Okay, I don't know how to word this, but tell me about an experience where someone you haven't forgiven or something you haven't forgiven in your life. I can personally go first.
No, hell no. No. Y'all been going first all night. I got one. And I just seen this joker last night. You understand me? I hope you watching, Mr. Jerome Russell. Yeah, we looked at you as a big brother. We love you. We call you Dookie J affectionately. But you know, in our younger days when we were out here in these streets trying to be, you know, young and thugging it, you know, he was one of our older brothers / uncles who turned us on to the trees. If y'all don't know what that is, that's the weeds. So we got out of school, you know, we done saved up our money because back then in the day, you know, we used to go half. I got $250 and you got $250. You know, just like the song said, I got 5 on it, right? And he went and we had a Snoop Dogg session. Boy, did we fought that car up. And boy, was I on cloud 9 somewhere near Jesus and God, okay? And it was this delicatessen called the Sub King, right around the corner from our house. You might know this place. And this guy went and bought a roast beef sub. I mean, one of the best subs that Rivera has to offer, okay? And it was me and my brother Norman Wright Jr., and we were hungry. And this guy had a whole sub, and we said, bro, give us a piece. And this joker gave us the most prolific line ever. He said, you know, that little piece that y'all asking me for is going to be the little piece that I needed to fill me up. It ain't going to do nothing for y'all, though, but it's the piece that I needed to fill me up. And that traumatic experience changed my life forever. I never leave the house without enough money for me to take care of myself, whether it's food, whether it's indulging in what I like to indulge in, or anything of those natures. So, Jay, I would like to let you know that traumatic experience formed a man out of me. Nobody will ever say that Zay asked them for something because he's going to have himself covered. You just know that, good buddy. What about y'all? What y'all got? What happened to y'all?
Mario?
I'm going to let Chris go. Chris wanted to go. I see he's eager. Go ahead.
No, and he's smiling to something up.
I listen to yours first. All right.
He's smiling to something up.
No. I listen to yours first, Hardy. Let me listen to you.
Well, someone I never forget is another J. So I remember I was on 37th Street, not to tell too much stuff, and then we had got a little birdie flew over and said, "Hey, the spot is hot. Whatever y'all do, don't be out here doing this at this time." And then another wise man drove down the street and said, "Hey, nigga, I heard y'all. Didn't y'all see the spot is hot? And you get from over there." Mr. Magnifico told me personally, "Don't be over here, nigga. You gonna go to jail." They coming. I like, yeah. So everybody's smarter than the average bear. At that time, I'm thinking I'm just Rick Ross. Every day I'm hustling. So we had, just clean the house. Everybody put this stuff over here. Everybody put this stuff over here. So it's not like warning didn't come before the destruction. All the warnings came and they was rolling in. But at that point, so was the money. So, you know, everybody think they slick and we not going to do this and we not going to do this. So one fateful night, one of my compadres, I will leave him nameless, he worked the night shift. So I used to always say, dang, I'm in the yard and I'm the youngest. So I always got to go up the street or like wait till they run out to really get some money because they was selling way bigger stuff than me. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, how am I get in? So I was trying to figure a way to get in, but I said, okay, if I take him to work, everybody else gonna be going home, and then the whole yard is mine. So I can make money all the way up until he go to work. And then this is like my big brother too. So he like, nah, you just running the whole thing. So he'll go in. So when he found out that's the way I made money, he was like, shit, I'm gonna just cut in early too. So man, I'm sitting back like a fat rat. I got my rusty 38. So then one of our other homeboys, not Duke J, but Ugly J, this son found out my jig was up. He was on to me. So every night he had never been in the daytime, but he'll creep his little butt around the corner in some kind of way, miraculously just, hey, what's going on, man? And then try to sit over there and then nickel and dime not off of me. So I'm telling him, bro, chill out, bro. You know, this and that and that. Hey, you know, they hot. The next thing you know, we sitting on the porch and some snow bunnies was over there in the yard trying to partake, shall we say, was I look up the street and boom, I see the tank rolling down the street. So we like, man, they done hit my boy on the street. Dang. Little do we know, we had ching, ching, ching. Bitch, they on our ass too. Shit, they coming through the backyard and around the other corner. So we all running the house like, cool, we know ain't nothing in here. Nobody not supposed to have us nothing. Boom, they hit the door, slam all us on the ground. Everybody come out. I hear, aha, we got them. I'm like, what? We've been warned for 2 months not to have nothing in here. And next thing you know, we getting hauled off down to the station. Then to look in this nigga eyes, I never had a fear in the bottom of my stomach, just like I ate a bad taco. I see the nigga, I'm like, bro, why are you looking like that? So my other homeboy like, man, hey man, make sure that nigga So now I know I'm in the best point of my life. But now I'm in the scariest point of my life because I'm thinking, oh man, this nigga finna sing like Luther, man. We dead, man. But it comes to find out just how happened they was doing a roundup and somebody else up the street had the mother load. So we were just small fries to a giant that night, man, and it all came through. But man, when I tell you, boy, I never forget, because if this little picklehead joke never came around there with his bull, they would have hit the door. Everything would have been okay, nothing else, no harm, no foul. You got to get us up, and you can't come over here no more. But he just don't listen to hard headed. We walked from the police station all the way till we got picked up. I wanted to kick him in there like 6 times. I told him to don't even walk beside me, walk behind me, nigga. You just do something else.
Uglying up the place.
Come on, man. So that was one of the people who I still to this day just always want to give him one more good shiner because just don't listen. What you got, Chris?
Seen his ugly ass the other night, just so you know.
Well, the person I've never forgiven was myself. I'll tell you a story, right? So everybody that knows me know how close I was to my first love, my first girlfriend, my first everything, Michelle, right? I went to jail one time, and that was one of the time I had to sit down for a couple of months or whatever. And you know how it is when you're in jail, niggas start to get all emotional, and then you start thinking about stuff. So I couldn't keep my mind off of her while I was locked up. Bad thing is I had a lady at the time, but I thought about her too. But for some reason, I just could not keep my mind off Michelle, right? So I get out. It was like, I think it was like anywhere from November 10th or 12th. I knew it was right before Thanksgiving. So I get out. I connect with her. We had been separated for a while. I get out, I connect with her, and I say I'm gonna see her in the Palm Beach for Thanksgiving, right? Come down to Palm Beach, go see her, and like all those feelings came right back to me. Like I just, hugged her and shit. All those feelings came right back to me. Now, when I got out of jail, I had found out my lady that what I was with while I was in jail cheated on me. So that was a time where at that time, I harnessed that, and I was like, you know what? This is a perfect time to try to get back with her. So at that time, I wrote this letter, right? Explaining everything, telling how I felt, heartfelt letter, everything, right? So I come down there with the letter. I see her. Like I said, all the feelings come back together, whatever. But it's Thanksgiving weekend, so the next day, I tell her I was going to see her the next day. That was Friday. That was Wednesday. So tell her the next day I was going to see her, but you know how Thanksgiving is. You with your family, she with her family. I think they went Fort Lauderdale. I don't know. They went somewhere else for Thanksgiving. I didn't get to see her. Now, at that time, I was hustling. The same thing that put me in jail, I was doing when I got out. So, and as a hustler, you got to be back. The weekend is the best time. So I had to be back up the road that weekend. So I told her, look, I'm gonna do my thing and hustle up to scratch up this money, and I'm gonna come up to Tallahassee to see you. That was Friday. Came back up, hustled up. Saturday, I can remember this like yesterday. I was on the phone. I think it was Norman that called me, and it was like, I'm on the phone with somebody, and Norman called me like, Chris, you all right? I'm like, yeah, I'm all right. I'm gonna call you back. Then somebody else called me, and then my brother called me and asked me, was I all right? I'm like, why is everybody asking me, am I all right? And then he told me, like, you ain't heard? I'm like, what? He's like, Michelle dead. She died in a car accident going back to Tallahassee. It was her sister, and her friend. And man, that shit just tore me up, dog. Like that shit really, really tore me up because that was my first love. And I think about that because her birthday is the 16th of this month, and it's like same thing with you, Horace. When that time comes, I'm always in a funny mood or whatever. But it's like it really, really messed me up. And the reason why I say I didn't forgive myself because I never got a chance. I didn't prioritize it, so I never gave her the letter, letting her know how I really, really felt. Now, I don't know if it would change anything, and it probably won't. But at the same time, like I prioritized hustling and making some money before telling someone that I truly loved how I truly felt. Now, eventually, I got a chance to put that same letter in the casket, but that's one thing I never ever forgave myself for. Like it was right there, and I just didn't prioritize it. So that was one thing I've never forgiven myself for. What about you, Horace?
Well. I could not figure out. Listen, I sat on my couch and stared at the screen all afternoon trying to figure it out. Your question was very unique, and I don't know, Chris. I don't know. That question could be complicated. We don't have enough time for that. But I know one thing that I've forgotten, and it's going to be one of my first sermons, right? You pray for God to take you out of situations. Right now, you're probably praying for God to make you rich. And then you're going to get rich and you still be doing the same things, right? So don't pray for God to get you out of a situation and then you keep running back to it. All right? Why do I say that? Because before I left those streets, being a miscreant, I prayed for God. I wanted a job. I just wanted to be a family man like Bill Cosby, take care of my kids, and go to practices and have a normal life. God gave me that. But guess what? When he gave me that, he didn't give that to my friends. I didn't pray that part. So he gave me that. I went off and got the job and working, but every now and then I miss my friends. So in the midst of Zadam saying, hey, Toot is bougie now, no, it's not that. It's just that I learned the lesson. What was that lesson? One night, like an episode of Friday the movie, I go into the alley. Everyone knows the alley. This alley is an apartment. There's many locations. They could be in there shooting craps, playing cards, but it is a facility full of all kind of illegal activities. Me wanted to go and see my friends, hang out, show them, hey, boy, look at me. I got a job. I'm living in life. I miss you guys. Go in there, crack some jokes, play some Madden, play for about $20 a game, yada, yada. This night, I walk in and I say, as soon as I walk in, my cousin who remained nameless said, Tootie, look out the door. Somebody said it's police out there. The police got the alley filled up. I said, I just walked in. I say, let me go see. I open the door. 2 officers are walking towards me at the front door. 5 minutes before that, another moron on this cast named Xavier pulled up, car running, door open, and comes in as well. So at that point, I pretty much said, well, Zay, you're going to spend a night in the paddy wagon. But for me, who just happened to come in here to say hello to these miscreants, now I got a situation. So the street general said, hey, go off and turn off all the lights. We're going to turn off the lights. In fact, one idiot was so genius, he went and hit the breaker box, turned off all the power in the apartment. Alice surrounded, the back is surrounded, there's police everywhere. And I said, I'm going to jail because I just happened to stop by and see these morons. And I'm in the dark saying, God, I get it now. I prayed to leave these streets and leave these situations, and I keep bringing my ass down here where I asked you to deliver me from. And in the midst of that darkness, we hear somebody say, I like, who the fuck cry? So, ladies, do know some of the most gangster dudes that y'all see they ain't built for it tough. Cause we won't say their name, but they was in there crying. And we like, we definitely gotta get out here because he's about to tell on everybody in here. So it's by God's grace that we did not go to jail that night. They all went to jail the next night.
Yeah.
The very next night. But I will never forget that because, like, just that easy, I could have faced a charge that would have changed the trajectory of my life, man. And I prayed for God to give me a job. I just want to have a decent life. And I keep taking my ass down here, hanging with the Negroes. Don't even want me around no more. Another lesson to y'all kids out there, bro. Once you start elevating, they ain't homeboys no more. You the fool. Them same friend might even rob you. So that's something I never forgot. That was the night that said I'd never go back in the trap. I love y'all to death on them corners, but we ain't the same no more.
Hey, can I know we running over time.
Yeah.
I just wanted to tell there's one more guy who I probably don't even know this, but he had I owe him one too, Mr. Chris. I remember one time we was just to tell this one story. I know we go running over, but I gotta tell this. I just thought about this. Me and my friend Ralph, one of the fondest Haitians in my life, one of my closest homeboys, man. You know, Ralph took me under his wing and took me to some of the nastiest holes in the walls with I shouldn't even been there in my life. And he had no bounds. No. So one day we hustled up and hustled and hustled and hustled. And we made quite a few, a little bit of money that day. So Ralph comes over and said, hey, bro, I got these girls. We finna go on this boat. So then Christopher Robin right here says, man, I'm straight. I got to play. So he tells us to play. All of us sit in the house, listen to the play and say, bruh, that's not it. That don't even sound right, bro. It sound like they just let it go. He like, bro, but the money-wise, it sounds amazing. But it just wasn't adding up. Plus, Ralph has these girls. And might I add, very, very good-looking girls. So this guy says, man, all right, man, fuck it. I ain't gonna bust the play, but I don't want to go with y'all. So we like, all right. So we get out on the boat. We out here, we jugging and getting it. And one thing about my boy Ralph, if he tell you got some girls, they already primed up and ready to go. So we on the boat, we on the lower docks. Me and my boy, next thing you know, my homeboy God bless the dead. Yeah. And DT called me, bro. The apartment is surrounded. Chris laid outside. They got him. They coming out everywhere. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Man, that same shit that Chris was talking about, man. They got his ass, man. You know, that girl was the undercover, man. This and I said, man, hold his ass. So as we saying this, we docking into the dock. And the girl's like, come on, y'all coming with us? I'm like, this. At this point, I'm probably like 22. These some 30-year-old cougars who are ready to go. I had to drive back all the way to Orlando to make sure we get Chris side and the house straight. DT locked the door, thank God. They couldn't come in the house without a warrant. But now we worried because this shit now I'm like, this nigga just cost me some. Man, I'm talking about fine. I said fine mean fine. I was like, Chris, but he was in jail. I was steaming coming home getting him out. Man, this what? Nigga looked me right in my face and said, bro, I'm good, bro. I ain't even worried about that. This thing, you know, this thing on cops.
That was the worst. That was the worst night, dog. Okay, I had the plan all together, right? Okay, first of all, she called me. She was at the school, right? First of all, I had the plan already. Don't bring him to my house. Don't even bring him to my house. You come get the money. You come get the stuff. Give me the money. Everything cool, right? Boom. So she did that. All right, she left. I done made a big play too. I'm outside on the phone because at that time the Verizon flip phones was out, right?
Big dummy.
So I can't get reception in the house. So I'm outside. I'm macking. I'm talking to this chick. I got my head down. I'm rapping, talking to this chick. I look up, dog. The whole apartment complex is full of police. They got their guns out and everything. I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh my goodness, what I did, bro. They caught me with the dirty money. And the crazy thing is, I had met my baby mother's mama the same day. Imagine meeting your baby mama's mama and then later on get taken to jail. Dog, it was the worst. It was the worst day in the world, dog. Looking at the police and coming to the house, though, but whew, that was a rough one.
Favor ain't fair.
Allegedly.
I would like to say that favor is not fair.
He should have got his ass on that boat.
You are a professional. Turn your mic on.
But you're not a professional. What? Hey, listen. I want to add that story too. As the hood turns.
Ralph, dog, so you don't know Ralph because Ralph love us all, but about that cat,
yes, man.
you will get left. He said,
out of here.
Sorry, he's already locked up. We'll get him out tomorrow.
Damn.
I ain't gonna lie, that does make more sense.
He said,
You ain't booking for 4-5 hours.
I said, nah, bro, we gotta go back. I don't know if they're gonna go to the house, man. Ralph was, man, I told Chris Odie. I said, man, I had to hear him. He a high pitch, he man. I was like, bro, this is him, boy. I tell you, bro.
And what time did Chris get out of jail?
Shit, they were working on it, but they still didn't know. It was just that it was too much shit going on. Other stuff I had to get home because it was just too much. My other homeboy who has nothing to do with nothing is locked in the house, and the police trying to come in, but he's the smartest professor now in America. I'll leave him nameless. He's like, nah, y'all ain't got no warrant, and he putting his life in jeopardy just to even catch it. So I'm like, crazy.
All right, YouTube fan, I will make sure I give you. I will connect you with Chris Leo so y'all can do a show about narcissism. I'm pretty sure he will be there to help you through your narcissism. He is really giving me the blues for my narcissism. We call it thirst trapping in America, sir. But hey, tonight as producer, I'm cutting it short because we went over. But I do want you guys to join my cast on As the Hood Turns. I mean, I'm up to episode 2, and I think it's really going to be a hit show. All right, guys?
Ain't fair.
Hey, man, listen. I'm coming to a barbershop near you, Zay.
Oh, man. Bring it.
Yeah.
Episode
3. No, I'm coming to
it's some stuff in that barbershop.
I bet it is.
Yep. A lot of slanted edges, a lot of all that, man. I'm telling you, got.
Oh, God. I'm the first track king. Hey, I'm going to closing comments. Chris, this show was pretty much produced by you tonight. So I'm going to give you the first at it.
I think this show had a lot of season. I think this show had a lot of taste. And now that I think about seasoning and taste, I want to give a big shout out to Mr. Taste.
That's a hell of a thing.
All-purpose seasoning.
You scared me.
Get you some. I put this shit on everything. I mean everything. Mr. Taste seasoning. That's it.
All right, ladies, man.
I'm gonna say favor ain't fair. I love it, but grace, oh man, we thank you for it, and you have extended some to all 4 of us on this cast, God. I just want to say to God be the glory. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Good night. What you got, Hardy?
Hey man, I want to say thank you everybody for coming out. Hey, share, man. Get us, you know what I'm saying? Everybody in the world deserves to hear this. Don't just be selfish. That's the word for today, selfish. Don't look in the mirror in the morning and think, damn, I'm selfish. I did not invite or enlighten somebody else to come see the Black Super Friends. Don't hog us all to yourself. There's 4 of us. It's enough to go around. Paul.
Exactly.
Just understand we are here for the world. The world, Craig. So tune in, and we expect for you to bring a friend. If everybody bring a friend and tell a friend, and we can all hang to the end.
Yes.
Like super.
Yes, ladies. We like them 2 at a time. I mean, never mind.
Valus Pierre is in the comments. Hi, Valu. Thank you for coming out. You know what, guys? I must say it is so interesting that Valou appears in our comments every week, and I've had a conversation with her, and I told her I'll tell her tonight, despite her hateful ways towards men, I find that me and Valou are quite compatible.
She ain't gonna let you beat on the first
Yeah,
night.
yeah, I know
Trust me.
that too. Yeah,
Man,
that's my single. Hey,
that's dope.
yeah, closing comments. Hey, I would like to thank everyone that came and actually listened to the show tonight. As I go back and edit the film, I would definitely make sure that I raise the volume. That way you can hear Chris as he had a moment where he cried for 1 minute on the show. Uh,
Thanks.
Chris is poet, yeah. For 1 minute on the show. So, I'm going to rechange this. I'm going to call this The Passions of Chris Leo. And
Man,
I really think that will be good for ratings for the
he
night.
got
So,
he got crucified. Man,
inside, Chris is like a pomegranate. Once you peel back the layers, there's
he's
a
all sweet.
sweet, oh,
You
he's a
suck
sweet
the
guy
juice.
inside.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Oh, it never fails. All right.
Ladies only.
So
Ladies
I don't
only.
have much to say tonight, but
You
please
said a
hit the
lot.
share button. Hit the share button, people. Please hit the share button. The algorithm for Facebook is quite difficult. Please hit the share button, or even go into your feed and just hit what's the thing called Messenger. Just send it to a few people in your message box. That helps us break through the algorithm. So thank you for joining us another week, and we're always here to do shows with more people. So Tequila, hey, all right. I don't know what you agree with, but I appreciate it. Nobody ever really agrees with me on this show.
Ever.
So thank you for joining us. Hit the share button. And if you have a topic, send it in to our DMs. And most of all, hey, we'd love to bring some of you on the show. That's
Mia,
what it's
come
all
disagree
about.
with Tequila right now. Please. I'm begging you. No?
Yeah.
You gotta win in tonight. God damn it. Mia usually come through right on cue.
Yeah.
I'm waiting on it.